What's going on, beautiful people? Jesse Moon Helen to you from Frisco, Texas today, and I'm joined by a bunch of my business partners and my lovely wife, Cindy Moon. Now we got Mark Casara coming to you, Laquan Butler coming to you, and Alex Tabor coming to you. Mark, where are you hailing to us from?
About 6 minutes down the road, Frisco,
That's it.
Texas.
Frisco, Texas. Laquan Butler, how about you?
I'm about 15 minutes down the road here in Dallas, North Dallas.
And how about you, Alex Tabor?
Big D.
Hailing from Aubrey, Texas, just north of Frisco.
Big A. And my lovely wife, Cindy Moon, where are you located?
Literally like 30 seconds from you in the other office.
Oh, that's like 5 seconds, not 30 seconds. Hey. All right, guys. Today we're just going to bring some value to you guys. If you're joining us, make sure that you're putting in the comments what city and state are you watching from, and let's see how many states we can actually get in here tonight. It's Friday. What's today? Today's Wednesday. I was thinking it was Friday. Today's Wednesday, right? Money Wednesday, guys. It's Hump Day. Put in what city and state you're logging in from. Let's see how many states we can get. But first and foremost, I want to ask you guys to put in any questions that you have about the state of your finances, your retirement, any questions that you have. We're going to talk about the state of America tonight, and I think it's right here. It's we got a whole mixture of diversity on here. I'm from the Caucasus Mountains, so I'm not from America. I'm from the Caucasus Mountains. Mark, where are you? Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm one of the neighboring mountains in the Caucasus.
You're one of the neighboring mountains, the big mountain. Good stuff. And my wife's obviously she's from another mountain in Mexico somewhere.
Really?
It's called the Rio Grande Mountain.
Rio Grande.
Rio Grande. But yeah, guys, what's on your mind? Somebody open us up. What's on your mind?
State of the economy.
Yeah.
Did you say State of the Union?
It's terrifying.
State of the Union was pretty embarrassing. If you
that was.
I watched clips of it. I cringe every time. Every time. I still can't believe people voted him in.
It was horrible. Except for that $400 a month that he wants to, the $400 tax credit or whatever he wants to give everybody.
You think that's
Yeah,
good?
but who's paying for it? Who's paying for it?
Bro, that's what got us into this situation in the first place.
I know.
It causes inflation.
It's going to cripple the economy, and then Bitcoin's going to be everything that everybody barters with at that point.
And everybody's going to get all their funds stole from them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, it's very interesting to see right now what's taking place in the cryptocurrency and all the FOMO's kicking in like it did back in 2017. Bitcoin's going to the moon. So yeah, finances are really taking a hit. It's what people thought they could live on 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. They're realizing that their money's not stretching as far as it used to. It's I mean, look at the gas pump. I never look at the price of gas, but I filled up today. It was like $4.20. I was like, holy crap! We're in Texas. I was still thinking it was like 250 or something like that. So
Really? Wow.
Yep.
Over 90% of Americans did say that finances is like their major stressor. So a lot of parents are feeling that inflation when they got to go to the grocery store, which is why we have so many like obese kids, because it's so much cheaper to buy the fast foods, the cheap foods, right? Or cheap foods.
Yep.
So it's pretty hard to see that a lot of people are taking up second and third jobs barely to survive and not realizing that it just keeps them in that rat race, like never ending hamster wheel of struggle. So it's pretty crazy.
Well, that's what people are in. I mean, they brainwashed middle class America to think about that. That's what a 401k is for. Let's just put your money here, cross your fingers, and hope for the best. Work 40 years for 40% of your retirement.
Yeah, 401k was definitely a failed experiment. And the way I look at a 401k is if the baby boomer generation is the first generation retiring, leveraging the 401k, and we realize that less than or the average balance of a current 401k due to Vanguard stats is less than $85,000. I don't know about you, but I don't know who's going to retire on $85,000 to help stretch them for 20, 30 years, right? In retirement. And if we realize it didn't work for the baby boomer generation, what the hell makes it think it's going to work for us? Why would anybody else follow the same suit? We need to rise up and challenge the status quo against conventional traditional strategies and say, are there any alternatives out there?
Think about the cost of living 30 years ago for our parents. How much was a new car 30 years ago? Brand new car.
$8,000, $9,000.
8, 9, maybe 10 for a nice one. How much was the cost of a home? Brand new home.
20, 30,000, if that.
Maybe 100 for a beautiful, like, nice 4-bedroom, you know. Now it's 5, 6 times what it was 30 years ago, but the salary of the average middle-class American hasn't gone up much.
Look, Juan, what's the average car player pricing out for the base model? What would you say the average price is when you left the industry a couple years ago?
Mid to high 20s.
35, 20s.
Hondas, Toyotas.
I remember the base models used to be like 13 to 15.
Yeah.
Now they're like mid 20s. That used to be top of the line.
That used to be Mercedes back in the day.
They say the average car payment in America today is $773 per month.
For a basic car too.
We were looking at vehicles. We were looking at like trucks, SUVs, and average prices. Really average prices $50,000 to $60,000, even for a used vehicle, a couple years old, and the payment was like 7, 8 plus.
And that's not even top of the line. That's like mid-level.
Yeah, it's like.
But you were big balling if you could spend $700 to $800 per month on a car. You were big balling, and you had shitty credit, right? but now you spend $1,000 on a car, you're just average Joe on the street.
Yeah.
So we got to ask ourselves, you know, is it a income problem that we're not making enough to keep up with current times? Are we as human beings not increasing our skill set to bring more value to the marketplace? Because that's all your income is a reflection of, is your current skill set and the value you bring to the marketplace. Because that employer is telling you what you're worth. It's telling you what that position with that company is worth. If you want more money, you have to increase your value that you bring to the marketplace. Most people are too damn lazy and not doing anything. So,
I think a lot of people are really intimidated too, because we have a whole generation that's been raised and groomed to be like entitled, right? They want this microwave success, like everything handed to them. So the idea of really going out there and developing your skills and selling yourself is intimidating for a lot of people, because they don't know if they can really add up or measure up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
I was actually watching a TikTok video earlier today about this lady that took her daughter, grocery shopping with her, and she was like, "I can't even buy this thing of 3 chicken breasts with 1 hour of my 1 hour of my pay. I hate this. How do you live like this?" And her mom's just like, "Welcome to adulthood. This is how it is now."
Well, right now you have like 4 generations living in one household together because they're struggling so much. The prior generation is taking care of the next. So you have 4 generations sandwiched and trying to make it under one roof. I never heard that. I know I moved out when I was 18, 19. I was living on my own.
Well, it's kind of like back in the 40s and 50s now, right? The daughter never left the house or never moved out of the house until, a man came courting her, and he had to have his ish together before the father would bless the daughter leaving the house and living with that man, right? We're kind of moving backwards in time.
I'm good with that, the kind of old school values though, because we have daughters. And I want our daughters, future suitors, like they got to come through the home first. Like they better come and talk to my husband and ask if they can talk to her. So I like that. So I'm not opposed to that. stepping back a little bit.
Yep, we're going through that right now. We're with our oldest, 27, and she's interested. You know, there's some interest there. And I told Michelle, I was like, all I know is you better come to me first. So we'll see what happens. But maybe that's just old school. But that's the way that I was raised.
You know, I've heard people say that you can't raise your kids today with old school values, but I don't think that that's true. I think that as long as as a family, your values are intact, and as a family, you agree that this is what we stand for, you can still raise your kids like that. Now, if the suitor for your daughter is unwilling, then he's not the one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to keep it in prayer that everything goes smoothly, right? Because we're not there yet. Our baby is 13, so.
Yep. Laquan's got 3-4 girls. How many girls you got, Laquan?
4 girls.
4 girls.
Get ready.
I'm not accepting nobody.
It's true, man.
Until I get a boy.
Get the gun out.
So Mark, let me ask you a question. What would you say a potential solution would be for some of these financial problems? Is it mindset of people? Is it
absolutely
environment of people?
I put a post out today. I said wealth starts with the mind, right? Because it doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what lot you were given in life. You can choose not to stay there through certain decisions and certain choices that you make in life. A lot of people just settle and they live where they live and they stay where they stay and they think they're stuck in that mindset, that mentality. But when reality, really hits them, they can choose to come out of that place. I was born to a single parent home, very poverty, stricken. I mean, we were living on cheese sandwiches for lunch every single day, but I chose not to stay there. And I didn't continue to perpetuate that culture in my life. I decided to break free, learn a skill, learn a trade, and get out of that. I could easily be back where I grew up, but I think it starts with mindset. That's the biggest thing for me. I really believe it starts with your mindset. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Agree.
I think mindset, but let's just say this. It's going to get tougher before it gets better.
Yeah.
We got a lot of weak ass men in this country.
Yep, it's true.
That's not willing to stand up and fight for their families. They're not willing to stand up and fight for their last name. Bringing honor to your family. What happened? Word is bond. That's gone. So people are just floating through life like a boat without a rudder. It's just drifting. There's no destination in place. And they're crossing their fingers, hoping, wishing, and praying that they're going to get to where they want to go. And they're never going to get there, guys. So we need leaders to rise up. I'm with you, Mark. That mindset is everything. But in order to change mindset, we have to change who we surround ourselves with.
Yeah, that's super.
We have to change the conversations that we're having. We have to change the books that we're actually reading. But the craziest thing is, if everything we need to know is in the books, the average American reads less than 10 pages per year. The average CEO reads 60 books per year. And we're wondering why they're making all the money and we're not.
And the books
something's got to give.
The books that they do read, middle class America, it's Harry Potter.
I was just going to say that one.
Fabio.
They're not looking for books to actually better their mindset, to actually better
The Murderer Next Door.
50 Shades of
Grey.
Yeah.
It's true.
You know what?
Maybe
you know what?
This. Maybe Cindy can.
I may or may not have a torture room, Alex.
Beg your pardon?
That's a different podcast.
Moving on. Cindy can shed some light onto this one though. Why do women always watch murder mystery? You're always watching like How to Kill Your Husband.
I grew up on Lifetime. I used to love unsolved mysteries.
Just in case.
And then cops, bad boys. What you gonna do?
But yeah, today I actually shared a video. There was a pastor talking about that families are broken. And I'm talking about what you said, honey, about weak men. So because people, right? Even churches, he said, are guilty of it, but everybody downplays the importance of marriage and family. So that's why over 50% of marriages in all the world end in divorce. 55% of marriages end in divorce in America, and 48% in churches, so because people take marriage like a joke, they're not really taking it serious. Right now you have broken families. So then you have sons growing up without strong fathers, showing them how to be good men, strong men, how to lead their families. So yeah, agree. Home. So, but if you did grow up in a broken home or not such a great situation, the key is really taking control of your situation, because you're not a victim. Take control of your situation, make that decision that you want change, and then start implementing so you can do better.
Not only that, but I mean, there's all these, not only social media, but now you have, I mean, look at all the dating apps. You have Hinge, you have Tinder, you've got Bumble, you've got now Facebook dating. It's a hookup culture. They're not pushing marriage anymore. They're not pushing, hey, be with your partner. Look at all these great relationships that have been together celebrating their 20th,
OnlyFans.
Your 50th wedding anniversary. OnlyFans, Snapchat. But now it's just looked at as, oh, I want to hook up and get what I can get. And then you have these Instagram models that are hooking up with all these wealthy men and basically mind twisting it or whatever, or getting pregnant by them and taking half of their stuff that they never even were there to work with that man to help him acquire.
Well, I would do the same thing. But anyway.
Take it off.
My algorithm is totally different, Alex. So I have never seen any of that on social media.
Yeah, I've never seen any of that either. Hey, listen, guys. If you guys are on here right now, can you go to your Facebook and put the audience to public? Because I know when we're streaming this, automatically sets it to private. Because I don't see anybody asking questions.
If you guys are watching, share it out as well.
And I got 30 people watching this. Guys, listen here. We're on here for you. Like, it's a Wednesday night after church. We're here for you guys. We're here to bring value to you. Ask us questions about any topics that you want, whether it be mindset, coaching. Listen, you got on this call right here, there's a few of us making a couple $100,000 per year. There's a couple of us making 6 figures per year. You got a lot of money on this call right here that you can get your questions answered. Okay. Tax-free retirement, uninterrupted compound interest. Do you need life insurance? Trust. How do you start making more money? How do you increase more money? How do you get more time in back so you can spend it with your family? Guys, ask us anything that's on your mind. We're here for you. Okay. But with that being said,
let's talk about TikTok.
Let's talk about TikTok. I know that's a soft spot for us because we build a virtual financial agency. And TikTok is where it all started for us. When TikTok was competing back in 2020. Yeah. I know that's when I got on TikTok about March 2020.
Shirtless.
And it took off. True. And
it took off because your first video was without a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, my first video I had no shirt. I was laying in bed with no shirt. My second video was talking about some crackhead woman walking down the street. You remember that, Laquan? And then my fourth video, I said, let me tell you about the 4 types of income. You have portfolio income, you have passive income, you have earned income, and you have compound income.
And it blew up.
Let me know in the comments which type of income you currently have and which type of income do you want. We got over 1,000 leads from that one video. And that's when my belief said, wow, this works. Yeah. So if you're a business owner on here and you're not using social media to grow your business, what are you waiting for? You're not properly serving your clients. However, since TikTok was given birth to, now we have competitor companies. You got Facebook Reels. You got Instagram Reels. You got YouTube Shorts. LinkedIn, you can even go live on LinkedIn now. And they're competing with one another. However, X, can you go live on X?
Yeah, it's turning into YouTube now.
Oh, wow.
I've never really got on X.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything
Never
about it.
typed
So
X.
I've been actually expanding my network on X. So that's where I'm going to go whenever TikTok goes away.
Tomequitos. I hope I pronounced that right.
No, there's a certain
Oh.
time.
Well, I was going to say it. I had a question.
Yeah, we'll address the question. Alex, finish your thought.
I was just saying X is the platform that I'm probably going to transition to whenever TikTok. If
You're on
TikTok,
Farmers of America, Farmers Only,
Christian Mingle.
Christian Mingle. You can find that man on Tinder.
X seems to be. I'm with Alex because X seems to be
the
most bipartisan, non-censored platform out there right now because Elon Musk got a whole bunch of money and he can't be bullied by people, and so he's running the platform as a free speech platform. Yes, there comes some junk that comes along with that, but at the same time, he's not taking your podcast down if you talk about vaccines or if you talk about COVID or if you talk about LGBTQX, WXYZ, and all this other stuff. He's like free speech is free speech, and it needs to be free.
Mark, do you feel Twitter at this point is
it's X?
X. I stand corrected. X. Do you feel it's too late to get started there? Because when I go to X, it reminds me of Threads.
Yeah, I think it's just getting started. I think it was old for a long time until Elon Musk bought it and revamped it, and I think he's just starting to come out with some newer technology. I heard some discussion that he's going to be competing with YouTube. He's going to be letting creators earn revenue on the platform for producing videos, podcasts, long form stuff. Wow. It hasn't been marketed like that as of right now, but there's supposedly some plans in the works. I think it's going to be a big competitor to YouTube. I really do.
So, sweetheart, what do you? And I'm calling my wife sweetheart. I'm not calling you Phyllis sweetheart.
I thought you were talking to me.
Don't get
so sweetheart. What platform do you prefer when you're creating your reels?
The fastest one that I've been doing honestly is TikTok. I like that one.
TikTok. Mm-hmm. So, Mark, what is taking place with TikTok right now in the news?
So TikTok is about to be banned because essentially the government is trying to force TikTok to sell from its mother company called ByteDance. Now, ByteDance is a Chinese-owned company, and if you know anything about China and the CCP, they own everything. You can't own a company in China unless the CCP, the Communist Party, is somehow connected to that business. Essentially, it's just everything runs through the CCP. So if you own a business in China, it has to go through their kind of, hoops and all that stuff that goes on behind a communist country. And so America's like, this is a big threat to our democracy, our freedom of this and freedom of that and information. They're saying that everybody connected to the TikTok app essentially is connected straight to the CCP, and the CCP can see and hear and do anything they want through that app. So Congress came together and they said,
sounds like the U.S. government.
Yeah, it does. Actually, you're right.
Yeah, we do that same stuff here. I mean, they even said it on the floor today. If you're going to do it to one platform, you've got to do it to all of them.
It's true. So Congress came together and said, listen, unless because TikTok is owned by ByteDance, but they have a United States division.
Sure.
It's funny. We can get into the weeds with this because the TikTok in other countries is not the same TikTok here.
Right. It's more educational there.
Correct. It promotes math and science and education. And here in America, they've pushed this propaganda of dancing and butt shaking and all this stuff that you do to get attention. It's an attention drawer versus a tool to learn. And so in other parts of the country, it's a tool to learn. And so in America, it's a big joke.
So somebody said they're I guess the big thing is they're trying to collect data and information. Correct. Hey, listen, I understand that, but if TikTok collects data, the U.S. government collects data. The U.S. government even has people knocking on the door collecting freaking data. They're going to get their taxes. It's all corrupt. It's just who's more corrupt and who can control who. That's all it is.
Exactly.
So essentially, let me finish my thought. Congress came together and they voted on this bill. The House voted today, and it was bipartisan, overwhelming, to rule that TikTok has to go ahead and sell. And they have I think it's like 3 months. 3 months to sell. I believe it's a 3-month, 90-day period to sell, or they're going to have to ban TikTok from being downloaded from all of the U.S. App Store apps. iTunes and the Andrew, whatever, the Google Play Store. And if that happens, it comes down. Nobody gets to use it anymore because they're going to stop pushing updates and the software is just going to stop working. And you know what's going to happen? They did this to Fortnite. They took Fortnite off the Apple App Store. And if you had Fortnite on your phone or on an iPad, the freaking price was $10,000 on eBay. They were selling phones for $10,000. So
wow. I'm going to go download it on all my phones.
Capitalize.
So let me ask you a question, Mark. And for all the business owners that are watching this, not the people that are watching people dance and midget wrestling and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But for the people that leverage TikTok as a social media platform to grow and scale their business, if TikTok is indeed banned, I know it's being threatened to be banned, but if it is indeed banned, is that going to put any pressure on the other platforms to enhance or to grow or compete with one another to actually push the algorithm out? To have,
absolutely
3 million people, or let's say 30 million people, or about business owners are about to stop using TikTok. We want them on our platform. Do you think they're going to compete to say, okay, we'll push their videos out to get them on their platform, or what do you think could potentially happen there?
We're going to start seeing it. We're going to start seeing it right now. We're going to start seeing the other platforms boost views and boost engagement so that people are drawn to that platform. Because the biggest trend right now on TikTok is, where are you going when TikTok is banned? That's like a big trend going on right now. And so
Clyde. Yeah, I got to interrupt you, Mark. Clyde, social media should not be shut down. Listen,
should be shut down.
You can use social media for good, or you can let social media use you. If you're letting social media use you, you should be shut down. So
social media is a tool.
It's true. It's a tool. It's a tool. It can be used for good or bad, 100%. But, Cindy, you had a thought. What were you going to say?
I don't know. I forgot in all of that. I forgot.
No, and to answer your question, I think the bigger platforms are going to, like Google, YouTube, and Instagram, they're going to start promoting themselves more because they're going to want to attract that audience. I don't know. What do you guys think?
You see that little bubble?
Yeah, I agree. Because that's what I mean. I started moving my stuff today. I started downloading all my stuff out of TikTok, all my videos that had the most views, and keeping them on my hard drive so that I could eventually upload all of them to YouTube Shorts, X, Facebook, Meta platforms. The YouTube actually shut me down today because I had uploaded so much content to their YouTube Shorts today. So I'm shut down from YouTube for 24 hours, but as soon as I'm back online again, I'm going to keep mass uploading because I know those videos are going to be starting to get pushed out more and more and more, especially on YouTube and X, because this is their time to shine. It's now time for them to capitalize on the mass exodus that business owners are starting to leap off of TikTok because of this fear of the TikTok going away.
Laquan, where are you going to be pushing your stuff to? Have you already started looking into that?
No, so I'm 50-50 with the whole TikTok thing. I can care less.
He just bought ownership to Black Planet again.
So if I was to have a chance to buy Black Planet, it would be the next best thing. But my thing is I diversify. So I got a good following there, but I post the same videos on all 3 platforms.
Repurposed.
So TikTok's gone, I'm okay. Like they're doing all this talk about it, all spies. I'm like, you can do that on Instagram, and I don't care.
I really hope Elon Musk comes out with something that can truly compete with YouTube, because I hate when YouTube can just like shut down your platform because they don't agree with what you're putting out there. I think that's
not just YouTube, babe. It's society. It's the government. It's the powers that control everything. He or she that controls you
Yeah.
They'll control everything that you do. So for example, I think this would be a good topic of conversation because Clyde, he came back. He said, it's a very helpful tool. Here, just let me throw it up here. He said, but he feels like society is being misguided. I feel like society would improve a lot if it is regulated or limited. Okay. So I'll Mark, you give your thoughts on this, and I'll finish this up with my thought on this comment because I somewhat agree and disagree at the same time. But I want to tell you why. What are your thoughts on this, Mark?
Why what?
Okay, what are your thoughts on this, Laquan?
Why social media is what?
I got look at your screen, bro.
It's right here on the screen.
Should it be regulated or should it be regulate anything?
I'm not gonna put it on society. I'm putting it on households.
Yep.
Let's go back to weak men, and then today's society is a bunch of weak men, and it's a bunch of people lazy. So instead of us like going back to family time, it's all right. Get your phones, your tablets, TVs, and just sit there while I watch the game or things like that. That's not society.
Isn't that parenting, Laquan? Yeah. Isn't that how you're supposed to parent now? Watch Barney?
No.
But that's
just feed them Cheetos.
I was raised old school, just like Laquan, so I know he can speak to this as well.
No,
where's grandmama? Where's all the grandmamas at?
Different
grandmamas.
I learned to switch dance real quick, fast.
Exactly.
If my grandmama's watching this, I love you.
Thank you for the switch dance, by the way.
Yeah, the switch.
Yeah, I had 1 hour TV time a day, and I was to watch Family Matters and Martin.
Yeah, it was family. So think about this, guys. And I know, Mark, you agree with me on this. I don't know your other two gentlemen's degrees. But think about this. What was the TV shows when we were growing up? Family Matters, you already mentioned.
Full House.
Home Improvement. Full House.
Home Improvement.
Didn't have TV.
Home Improvement. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep.
Step by Step, all the family shows.
Step by Step.
All family.
They all had something in common. There was a strong father presence in the
Roseanne.
Roseanne with Arnold. You look at all the TV shows today, they're boy on boy, girl on girl, no father present. If there is a father, they're making fun of the father. They literally remove the father from the household.
Yeah.
And we wonder why society's jacked up. God gave fathers the responsibility to raise their family, to lead their family. But you remove the man, you remove God. You remove God, you remove the man.
100%.
Because the man, think about this, the man is the head of the house, but God is the head of the man.
What's all going on? The last one was the Wayans brothers. They had Pop.
Dwayne, yeah.
That goes back to what that pastor was saying in the video. You downplay the importance of marriage, take out the dads. This is what you have.
So yes, society would improve, but there still will be no leadership in the household. And Laquan, you hit the nail on the head. It all starts in the household.
Yep.
And I blame our generation, every one of us on here, I blame our generation for this happening. Because we grew up saying, I'm going to give my kids things that I wasn't given instead of teaching them the things that we weren't taught. So now we're spoiling our freaking kids, and they're entitled, they're average and ordinary, and they do just enough work not to get fired, and the employer pays them just enough so they don't quit. A lot of mediocrity going on. So if we want change, guess what? We have to change first as parents. No. But with what they just said, they said social media influences. Well, I don't know who you let influence your kids, but I influence my kids. So much so, I did a video saying I want my kids to know that the Moon last name is the best last name in the world, and my kids will not wear another man's name on their back. 20,000 negative comments, Mark, telling me I was weak. I was a beta male.
Controlling.
I was insecure. I was a control freak. because these weak ass men don't have pride in who the hell they are. They don't know who they are, so they can't fight for who they are. And they didn't have a father that taught them. So it's time for men to stand up. It's time for men to fight back. And Laquan, I'm gonna tell you, because I know you like wearing jerseys. How do I remove this thing? I like wearing jerseys too. Here, hide current comment. Okay, there we go. So Laquan, you like wearing jerseys. I like wearing. I grew up wearing jerseys. I was an athlete. I grew up wearing jerseys. But it's different when you have achieved a level of success in your life, like you have. For these men, as Bedros Keuilian says, these fat, out of shape men that's eating Cheetos and hot dogs on the weekends, worshiping another player on a football field that's not leading their families. Why are you wearing another man's name on your back? Your kids are gonna that's what your kids are gonna look up to, you. And then they don't have a good example. However, you've achieved a level of success where you know who the hell you are. Does that make sense? There's a difference and a fine line between knowing who you are, not knowing who you are, and wearing a freaking jersey. Okay? So, guys, we're all fathers here.
Wow.
Laquan, you got 4 girls. Alice, you got 2 boys. Mark, you got a set of twin boys, a set of girl triplets. You got a 20-year-old, something-year-old daughter. 23?
27.
Your daughter's 27?
Yeah, that's what I said.
And
22.
I thought she was like 21, 22.
27.
And you got a grandbaby.
Yes.
Honey, we got 7 kids. We got 5 teenage boys and 2 girls. It's a big responsibility, guys, because kids in this country are the next generation of leaders. We got to lead by example. Guys, let me know. Mitch Ryan says he got 8 kids. Brandon Buchanan, what's up, brother, man?
What's happening?
Brandon.
So when it comes to leadership rising up, remember, leadership changes everything. It can help with finances. It can help with businesses. It can help with families. You went back to it, babe, on marriage. Marriage is important, guys. I believe in marriage. Mark, you believe in marriage.
Yep.
Right? I know you guys believe in marriage. You're gonna be married someday. Okay. But what are your thought process on how do we really change? How do we really change what's going on in America? How do we fix this thing?
Right now, I mean, we're going up against everything. We're having to change the mindset of America. They're you said it before, they're used to instant gratification, they're spoiled, and the instant gratification that the women are getting right now on social media is likes, hearts, OnlyFans, shaking the ass, showing cleavage, half dressed. I mean, it's
not on my algorithms.
You got to stop watching that stuff, Alex. Stop feeding that algorithm. But yes, I do understand with you, Alex, because when you see those TikToks come across, and you see, and my wife showed me some as well, kids twerking, and that's what they're looking up to, because they're being, the Beyoncés and all these other people are being like glamorized. The Kardashians are being glamorized, and that's who people aspire to be like. What was it in the early 2000s? It was Sex in the City, big show. Women started trying to portray like Samantha in Sex in the City, and they were mistreating guys. I'm like, people are influenced by the stupidest crap. But
I think it's a combination
it's
of
the female take, babe.
I think it's a combination of the feminists and who lie to these young girls and say that to be a strong, independent woman, you have to show everything that you've got. You have to go out there and sleep around like men sleep around, right? If the men can do it, we can do it. And so there's this distortion of what it is to be a strong woman. And so our young girls have been fed these lies that you have to show off your body. You have to be a slut. And that's what it is, okay, when you're sleeping around like that. And just the wrong definition of what it means to be a strong woman. When being a strong woman is just being confident in who you are. I say confident in your identity in Christ, you know, and knowing what you stand for, your values, your principles, believing in marriage, because we know that a good, strong home creates strong, healthy children. And that's the only way that we change things. So women need to take back the real definition of being a strong, powerful woman. And it's not like acting like a man or showing all your cleavage and or any of that. It's about knowing that who you are is enough, and I don't need to go and shake my ass for the gram to be strong and powerful. That's got nothing to do with being strong and powerful. You're just being a hoe showing up.
Fit, talking to these women that are on Fresh and Fit. That's all they talk about. What'd you say, Laquan?
How many men? What's your number count? Stuff like that.
Body count. Yeah, Mitch. I think it was Mitch in the comments earlier talking about giving a Uber ride, or he was in an Uber or something, and the woman was talking about how high their body count was. That's not something that you want to brag about.
No, not at all.
There's no dads in those homes. That's all it is.
I would be mortified if our daughter. I think I'm old school. I believe in traditional butt whooping, so I don't care who doesn't like it. I do. I would whoop my daughter's butt.
You get censored.
I would definitely, you know, my daughter knew. We have different set of rules around here, and my daughter knows that her body, she's beautiful, and she doesn't need to show it all to be beautiful. And the right man is going to honor that.
Africa
said.
I think
there's a delay. It said Africa said, and while that might be true for some, there are some communities that do not have these resources. These young girls don't have role models to help them increase their identities and self-esteem.
I mean, I wasn't rooted. My family wasn't rooted in the church, but there's so much out there on social media. Young girls do have an opportunity to gravitate more to women who are speaking the truth and not shaking their ass. It's just what they're drawn to. So the way that we can help really shift the mindset is there needs to be more of us vocal and leading that way, instead of letting just the trash be the loud noise, the distraction in our kids' ears and their eyes. That's really what needs to happen. More people like us need to be out there speaking life into these kids.
1000%.
Yep.
But here's one thing that I'll tell you is every one of us have the DNA of a king running through us. God made us in his own image. Okay. I grew up in a trailer park in Savannah, Georgia. Who is my influence?
Joe Dirt.
Donald Trump.
Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt. Nah. They're still doing the same things that I did when I was in high school. But God gave me a vision to step out, and I fulfilled that vision. I said, you know what? I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm going to step out, and I'm glad I followed that call. But everybody else I grew up with, they're still doing the same things. So it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter what your environment is. Yes, it does have influence on you, but you have something inside of you that God gave you and nobody else. So at some point in your life, you're going to make a decision. If you are a young girl, you don't have the environment, you don't have the father figure, whatever it may be, these excuses we're making for these young girls, okay? And then we go to college, and then they continue to do it in college when they know right from wrong. And then they become women and still do it, or men and still do it. There's a problem with them, not their environment. Because you as an adult, you have the control to change your environment. And I'm just telling you that because I literally came from nothing and I was able to become something.
Correct.
I think a lot of us. Yep.
Honey, you had your first, you had our first child when you were in your teens, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Most people count out teen pregnancy and say you're never going to amount to anything in life, but you're halfway through your doctorate degree. What if you would have listened to everybody in their life, they have a choice to do or not to do, to win or to lose. Everybody has to make that decision for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
right? So we can blame, oh, they have the wrong role models. They don't have father figures in the house. Their parents or whatever. Guys, there's so many things out there that we can point back to, that every individual has a decision to make for themselves. But as you said, honey, this is why we do what we do, guys. This is why we make money, so we can actually make an impact in the communities, to give back to the communities, to start nonprofit organizations. One of my dreams is to start a Big Brother, Big Sister club, because when I recruited for the Army for 12 years, I was in Chicago for 7 years. I was inside 32 different high schools, middle schools and high schools, and I saw kids. They had visions and they had dreams in life, but they didn't have any resources to help them fulfill it. And I said, I'm going to give back to the inner city. So guys, that's something that drives me, because I know they're counting on me to win, because they don't know who else they can count on. And I know each and every one of you have a heart for people, and there's something you want to do for people as well.
Nonprofit for leadership for young girls. Yep.
What about you, Mark?
Fill that gap for sure.
Midget wrestling.
Okay, let's do it. I mean, that's self-esteem right there, right?
Midgets need love too.
I'm just kidding. This is an inside joke, guys. Nobody send me hate comments, please. Yeah, no, we want to do some third world country stuff. We want to bring water and food and shelter to some hard to reach places out there that we have connections with over the years. But yeah, we definitely want a global impact. And we want to raise our kids that way too, to have that type of desire to want to help globally.
Change makers.
Change makers. There you go. Yep.
How about you, Laquan? Mark and Laquan, you both grew up in Connecticut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like neighbors.
Was it the same city or different cities?
Same city. I was in Bridgeport.
Close, like a neighboring city.
How was the environment growing up there?
Not easy. Not easy.
I know a
lot of influence, right?
A lot of influence.
Yeah.
Either sold drugs or played sports.
Yeah.
Somebody said that the rougher your life is in the beginning, it acts as a superpower in your older years. If you can ever have that switch flip, that a lot of these successful people, they didn't come from anything. They came from nothing. But they give credit to their rough past for who they are today.
It's the same as they say. It's the same as they say, you do hard things now, and the rest of life will be easier. It's the same analogy.
Principle.
Yep, I agree.
Alex, you grew up working on a farm, throwing hay bales at 8 years old.
Cow tipping.
He was the fastest cow milker in Oklahoma. That man was the fastest cow milker.
Alex was cow tipping for the shrooms at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Farmer, guys. I didn't grow up a farmer. My parents were business owners. Well, my dad was. My dad owned his own advertising agency in Tulsa, Oklahoma. My mom, she was the first female sales manager over a radio station in the entire country. She was the first general sales manager over multiple radio stations in the entire country. She was a trendsetter for females in the radio industry. So I had some big shoes to fill. Well, what did I do? I went into car sales, then got into motorcycles. I like turning wrenches, so I turned my hobby into a job. Here's a tip, guys. Don't ever do that. If you turn your hobby into a job, you will hate your hobby and you won't have any more hobbies anymore. But I was a Harley Davidson mechanic for 8 years. There wasn't any money in that. The only money, there's a lot of glamour in it. Everybody, oh, you're a Harley mechanic. Ooh, Harley Davidson. There's a lot of glamour in it, but there's no money in it unless you own the dealership.
True.
So then I got into heavy equipment because that's where the money was, working on heavy equipment. But guess what? That led to a failed marriage because you're never home. That's something that Jesse can go into whenever he was an Army recruiter. He's never home. when you're working these long hours, you're giving up your life and you're giving up your time with your family just to make overtime money. And the majority of that overtime money goes to Uncle Sam. It doesn't go to you. So you're benefiting the government, sacrificing time with your family. It's time for you to learn how to take control back.
All right, Alex is excluded from the Life Was Hard growing up. Alex had a strong household, because if you
We'll skip you. We'll skip
working as a mechanic has a rough life. Shout out to Mama T.
Hey guys, as we begin to wrap up, I want to leave on a positive note, and I want to let people know that there is hope out there. There's people that are willing to fight for you. There's people that are willing to challenge the status quo. Maybe you're feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders right now. There's people fighting for you. There's people praying for you. There's people coming together and making plans that's going to build things that's going to help relieve the stress for you. And when it comes to finances, guys, what each and every one of us does, we're in the financial industry, and we challenge the status quo. We're here to stand up against the 401ks, the IRAs. Although we don't completely disagree with them, there's a place for them, but that's not the one size fits all strategy that 90% of middle class is putting their money into. Guys, modern day retirement is close your eyes, cross your fingers, get down on your knees, and hope and wish and pray that there's going to be enough money in there when you turn 65 years old, or retirement's now 67. That's not a solid retirement plan, guys. It's not solid. So I highly encourage each and every one of you to reach out to one of these guys on here and say, educate me on Alert, life insurance retirement plan, educate me on tax-free retirement strategies, educate me on how I can take back control of my financial future. Stop putting it off until tomorrow and next week and until the stars align. Reach out to them today and say, how can I get educated? How can I freaking get educated? Because I want to change my life. Guys, it starts with education. And if you're too stubborn to reach out to get help, you deserve to be exactly where you currently are.
And procrastination,
you can't blame anybody but yourself.
Procrastination of your final destination. Is that right, Coach?
That's it.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
We got to make this thing go a little while longer. We got to be on here at least a full hour. We're at 52 minutes already.
That's it. I don't know, guys. You tell me what's on your mind.
Closing statements.
I'm tired of people losing money in their 401ks. I'm tired of people reaching out to us saying, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to retire. I'm tired of people saying
they can't afford $200 a month, $300 a month, $400 a month.
And they're laughing at you like, who the hell can afford 200? Like,
they're saying
really?
Nobody can afford that. And I'm saying, where are you guys living under a rock? Like, make yourself afford it. Get a new job. Get a side hustle. Do something different. Yeah.
They're paying for DirecTV. They're paying for all this distractions rather than benefiting their family and their life. Guys, if your parents or your grandparents are still working, or maybe they did retire, but they're not living the lifestyle of their dreams, they're living and they're getting support from Social Security and the government because their retirement wasn't strong enough. If they're not living the lifestyle of their dreams in their retirement years, maybe you should do something a little bit different than they didn't do.
Yep.
Yeah, as Mitch Ryan said, but too many people listen and think Dave Ramsey is the financial genius and 401k IRAs are the best way to go. Listen, guys, broke people listen to Susie Orman.
Mm-hmm.
Middle class listens to Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey owns a life insurance company. Dave Ramsey's life insurance company only sells term life insurance. Dave Ramsey's mentor was Art Williams. Art Williams was the owner and founder of A.L. Williams, that you may now know as Primerica. His philosophy in the 70s, buy term, invest the difference into the stock market, made sense because the interest rate was 10, 15% at your local bank account. That's when the stock market was booming. That's why the baby boomers believe in the stock market, because they made all their wealth in the stock market. In the 70s, that's when construction was booming, right? That's when construction was booming. That's when real estate started booming. That's when the car industry started booming. It's not the 70s and 80s anymore, guys. As technology evolves, financial products evolve.
Yep.
So you got to start looking elsewhere, guys. So even the creator of the 401k said, I created a nightmare. It was never meant to be the sole purpose of a retirement. It was meant for the wealthy to use it as a tax shelter, temporary tax shelter. So I'm telling you guys, Ted Bennett.
And that was one of the red flags I told people about when they're sitting with a financial professional. If they only have one thing that they can sell you, know that they're selling you all they have, not what's best for you. That's a red flag.
Yep.
So yeah, outdated financial options that don't work anymore. Guys, the key to really finding success in your life, in your finances, and changing, it doesn't matter where you came from. It starts with you making the decision on who you want to become, the life that you want to live, getting properly educated on how to do that, and then just executing. Stop making excuses. Stop the victim mentality. Your life is 100% in your control. Make that decision today and watch how your life transforms.
1000%. And we'll leave on this note, guys. I'm going to ask each and every one of you a question. And I think for everybody watching this is about opportunity. Mark, when you decided to choose entrepreneurship as your means to replace your 9-to-5, I know you were scared as hell. Every one of you were scared as hell. I was scared as hell when I got out of the military because that's all I knew. So you left a secure 9-to-5 jobs, health benefits.
Yep.
And you stepped into the unknown called entrepreneurship for the opportunity to live your best life. How has that journey been thus far?
Thus far, it's been incredible. It's given me the opportunity to live a life that I probably only dreamt of just a few years ago. About 4.5, 5 years ago, I was living paycheck to paycheck, working 3 jobs, just trying to provide for my family. And it was a stable job. That paycheck kept rolling in, even if I took sick days and had little PTO here and there and took a vacation once a year. But that paycheck was limited, and I only had so much room that I could grow in that company. I could never be the CEO of that company unless the CEO wanted to replace himself with me. But that likelihood of that ever happening is slim to none. So I decided that I needed to find something that could allow me to have an unlimited income limit, right? And allow us to set our own hours and work on our own terms. I have 6 kids and a grandbaby, and so we wanted to have that freedom. And so I jumped into entrepreneurship. Scary as hell in the very beginning, because you go from this steady paycheck to something that's not stable anymore. Now you got to figure it out. You eat what you hunt. And if you don't hunt, you don't eat. And so, I'd say 4 or 5 years later, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I'd never go back.
Now you're making mid 6 figures.
We're making mid 6 figures and climbing. And our goal is, we have lofty goals and dreams right now, but we want to give back to the community. We want to be the biggest tithers at church. We want to, support missionaries overseas. We got a lot of stuff that we want to do, but I'll never go back to a job. Never.
Stop human trafficking. I know that's something that we were looking into.
Yep.
I appreciate that, Mark. Laquan, when I first met you, brother, man, you were one of the senior finance managers in Jacksonville, Florida, at a car dealership. You were working 17 hours a day, 18 hours a day. I remember you were still at the office at midnight calling me, telling me, hey, I'm still at the office closing up paperwork, but you were still willing to get trained. When you chose entrepreneurship, stepping out, you knew you were already making mid 6 figures in the auto industry, but you didn't have the time. How does it feel being able to take your girls to the park at 1 o'clock in the afternoon now, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, pick them up from school, take them to school? How's it feel?
It feels amazing. Like, I did it today, and I'm at the playground. I'm wearing a suit, and it was like, I'm watching everybody. Oh, we have to go now. We have to run a rush. I'm like, we can go as long as y'all want. I'm fine. I make my own calendar. So it's that freedom to do whatever I want, to book my own calendar. It's weird, like waking up whenever I want. Not like I wake up early, but it's because I want to wake up early. Man. Like I know everybody has that feeling where you wake up at like in the middle of the night and you're like playing that game with yourself. What time do I think it is? I think it's 1:30. You look at your alarm, and it says 5 o'clock. You're like, damn, I get up in 30 minutes for work. And that stomach drop feeling, I haven't had that since. So it's the best feeling in the world. When traded, I'll always be unemployable.
I love it. And that's right here, bro. This is your brand. Give you a plug for your brand. This is your brand right here. Officially unemployable.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Officially unemployable, guys. You gonna start selling these things?
Yeah, once the trademark comes through.
Sure.
We were last night. Somebody asked to take a picture. It was a group of about 20 plus guys, Alex, and we're ordering. And they come over to me and he's like, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" And there's a leader of a team of Amway agents there. They're trying to recruit me. And I said, "No,
at the cigar bar."
No, this is at In-N-Out.
Oh, gotcha.
Afterwards. Yes. So they come over. We're ordering. They come over. Kid comes over to me, and you can tell he wanted to recruit me. I said, "No, I was already a leader in Amway." I said, "Nothing against Amway. They're my foundation. I started entrepreneurship in 2010. I had a big team, everything like that, but didn't follow my values and my principles. So I chose insurance." And he has to take a picture with me and exchange numbers. And that was it. He messaged me this morning, wants to buy a shirt.
Nice.
That's it. Nice. And Alex, how about you, bro? Like every one of you gentlemen made sacrifices. You relocated your family from your home state to the DFW area here in Texas because of entrepreneurship, because of family, right? And what I mean by family is us. We're family. Alex, you and your parents were selling off acreages of your farm so you could relocate here to Dallas. That was a big sacrifice for you guys, for your parents as well, for you to leave everything that you know and come out here to where you don't know anybody except us. How was that transition into entrepreneurship been for you? Because you Alex, you posted a picture of you wearing when you were driving in the truck. You were kind of hefty back then, but now you picture yourself driving you have a picture of yourself driving a Mercedes. Two totally different people within a 24-month time period. How was that change and shift been for you?
It's been amazing. I mean, we all know that job just stands for just over broke. So if you're continuing to work for somebody else, being a W-2 employee, you have to start something on the side. You know, going out and getting 2 jobs and 3 jobs, that's not going to give you what you need as far as time freedom back with your family. It's not going to give you any tax benefits for sure. So, I mean, entrepreneurship is by far, it's going to be hard. Nobody says it's easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it, but it's totally worth it in the long run. You know, these get rich quick things that you see popping up all over the place, these MLMs, these pyramids, they're just a distraction, guys. And a lot of you look at insurance that way. And there are some insurance organizations out there like that, but the basis of insurance is, I mean, it's set up like a real estate or a law firm. So that's what I had to get past when getting a part of this industry, or trying to find an industry to get involved with entrepreneurship and a training platform. And finding this industry, by far the best thing that could ever happen to me, getting me out of, you know, a small farm town community and into a huge community like Dallas, where all of the opportunity is, all the business happens. You're not going to find a whole lot of business in the community centers of a town that only has a Dollar General and a stoplight. You have to go out and get uncomfortable and put yourself into uncomfortable situations and go where the opportunities are, go where the business is. So that's the sacrifice that I decided I was going to make for me and my family. And it got me out of a work truck with windshield time and bought my time back to where I can travel 4 hours back up to Oklahoma and spend it with my kids. I can attend their baseball games, their basketball games. And I can go up there and take care of my parents if I need to take care of my parents. I can still run my business anywhere I have a cell phone and internet connection. But it all starts in a large area where you can explode and have exponential growth. And that starts with putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation and in and around a community of people that's going to elevate you and push you to be your next best version of yourself.
That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate that, Alex. And we'll finish up with you, babe. Mompreneur and money doctor. That's what I'm talking about. You're the backbone of our business. My lovely wife, First Lady of Legacy Army. You took a lot of risk by trusting me on this entrepreneurial journey. Because when we first got started in business, you wanted nothing to do with the business, but you did support me in the business because you had your own journey. You were a high school educator, and obviously you can share that, but you had your own thing going, but you trusted me that I was gonna be able to lead our family in the right direction. You just want to tell people how has entrepreneurship been for you thus far, and what closing advice can you give to any of the ladies or power couples that are kind of teetering the fence on, do we stay with the 9 to 5 and the security, or do we say, you know what, we're going to trust God, we're going to act on faith, and we're going to do this thing together? What would you say to them?
Well, so first I want to say that in our industry, what I was really blessed that we could do was hybrid entrepreneurship. So working your full-time job while you're building your business on the side. Because like we just stated earlier, there are over 90% of Americans that are stressing about money, right? Trying to work 2 and 3 jobs. But the goal is, or not the goal, but the whole point is you need to get started. You just need to get started, because working a job that you're not happy at, that's causing you stress, and it's making you less of a mom, less of a wife, not a really great partner, is not worth what they're paying you. And so for us, getting started part-time was a blessing. And we have a lot of kids. And I knew that what we had been doing for all these years, once I learned about the education on how many works, how many grows, and how to make it grow for us, I knew immediately that we needed to implement it. Otherwise, nothing was going to change. And so we've been running our business full time for over 6 years now, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And it's always been a blessing to be able to have that time. But I think that when the pandemic happened, it really just 10x highlighted that we had made the right decision. Because when the whole world was freaking out about, I have to go to work, what am I going to do with my kids? Or they just let me go, how am I going to provide for my kids? You and I, thank God, didn't worry about that at all. We were honestly really just enjoying our time at home with our kids. We would go bike riding, we would go trail hiking, like we were just living the life, running our business from home, from the safety of our home. And so for those of you that are deciding or haven't really found the confidence, know that you can start part-time and build up to gradually, at least in our company, in our industry. And when you make the decision, you have to commit. It's not like a microwave. You are going to have to dedicate your effort, maybe part-time hours, but full-time effort. You got to show up, you got to do the work. But as long as you're willing to do that because you love your family enough, I don't see it as a sacrifice. I see the short term, like living for the short term every single day, like how am I going to pay this bill, or having to work, exchanging my days for dollars. That's the ultimate sacrifice, because you sacrifice your time, your energy, and really your family. So build the business and just set yourself free.
Thank you for that. And the last thing is, I'll tell you guys, your 9 to 5 job, use it to pay your bills. But start you a side hustle in the wealthiest country in the world. Start you a side hustle. Sell T-shirts out of the trunk of your car if you have to. Sell little tumbler cups if you have to. That way you can minimize the taxes that you pay to the government and put more money in your family's pocket. Guys, with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for hopping on here tonight. Just talking about state of America, state of the economy, some alternative strategies, and a little bit about opportunity. If you're watching this on the live, go ahead and drop in a comment what value you found. And if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and let us know in the comments what value you found from this live and some things that you would want to see in our next live together. With that being said, gentlemen, honey, thank you guys. Good night and God bless everyone.
Appreciate you guys. God bless. Take it easy.